Oh, ow. Tell you why I'm in pain here is because I got queer bashed at a skate park by people who live in Flamingo. As incredible as both of those things sound, especially if you've ever been here. Uh, I'm gonna get my shit together for a minute, get my thoughts together, make sure my stuff is plugged in. All I got left is a grainy video. I still don't have internet. Um, ow. So I'll upload this at some point, or maybe I won't. I feel like I should because it's important, even though, you know, I'm gonna make I have a getting beat up today, whatever you want to call it. Um, it's actually like not even by far my biggest issue. I'm like in a very delicate place emotionally, and then on top of that, I have major things happening. Like I've been being robbed. I've been being like someone's trying to intimidate me, and they don't sleep because they're on drugs, and they stay 10, 15 feet away from my bedroom window all night, and like steal from me at every opportunity, and that's a whole nother problem. A potentially violent person. Lord. Uh, so yeah, I'm gonna go through the story here. I have to give some context. So, uh, like 10 of the last 12 days, I've just either cried all day and all night, or just cried myself to sleep and break down once in a while. And I've been allowing myself to do that. I've been staying home, pretty much alone here. Um, and so people see that vulnerability as like a weakness, I guess. And I'm like kind of being assaulted. Like it's hard enough to get anything done with what I've been going through. My partner left me going on 2 weeks ago very suddenly without any warning. Went from every day, I'm grateful to have you in my life, and I've never been treated so good, to I asked for care one night, and that turned into a meth binge down the street. Which then when I started talking to other people, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we all smoke with them all the time." And I'm like, not mad at them because they didn't make me any promises, but everybody just thought they were just doing a little, but it's a lot of people. It's a lot, and it exploded for whatever reason. That's really hard for me to deal with because I really love this person. I, you know, they're already with someone else while I cry myself to sleep. It's like a terrible situation, Um, and I've gone out 3 times in the last 2 weeks. Once when I felt like so distraught that I just needed to be around people for a little while, and I went in a corner of skate park in a dark corner, and like hardly anybody really know I was there, and just like cried in the corner and played with some dogs, and I felt better. Talked to some friends there, told them how I was feeling, what I was going through. I got some, little support and care, and I went home feeling better. Um, the second time, a few days ago, I was like, had the first day that I didn't cry. I had 2 out of the last 10. I cried myself yesterday. That's why I went today. Just for like a respite for a minute, even though it's like dangerous for me to leave here. I have so much work to do alone. Like I'm running critically low on supplies. Um, I'm gonna do it. I'm willing to do all this hard work. I'm in a lot of pain right now because I actually got hurt in this altercation that I'm about to explain to you. Um, uh, okay, so there's that context of like why I went there, and today I was like, it was a mixed bag. Like the one time I went there, yeah, I finally had it like a day with some energy where I could even leave the house. So I even had the will to leave for an hour or two. You know, the first one was distraught, and I needed like fucking support. The second one was I'm feeling a little better. Let me get out of the house today. Then today I wasn't sure. I had like I'm going through this other stuff that's huge, and I was just like, oh, just let me have let me have an hour or two. Let me go play guitar. Borrow my neighbor's guitar just to go up and play a couple of songs or whatever, and have a drink or two. I don't really drink. I had 2 drinks tonight over a 4-hour period and had like 5 sodas. Like that's how I roll. I'm not an alcohol person at all. Um, so I had 1 shot of whiskey, and then like an hour later I had a beer, and everything else was sodas, and I was already not drinking those 2 little tiny drinks for like over an hour or two before this happened. So um, the first hour I sat at the bar with my friends, and like they asked how I was doing and everything, and I told them because I'm very honest, and like I don't think that it's weak to be vulnerable. Like I told them the truth. Like I always tell, like I'm having a pretty bad day, and like I just wanted to get out for a minute and play a couple songs, play with my dogs, maybe talk to my friends, like get a couple hugs or whatever. And so I'm having that conversation, and there's 3 people sitting at the bar. It's not a huge bar, so like they hear the whole thing over like the first hour, like just me getting care from other people, like me being honest but strong, just like trying to do the right thing, trying to rebuild my life and process in a non-toxic way, you know, and so they hear me over the whole hour, and then um, the person who assaulted me is going by the name Cecil here. I believe they live at Flamingo. I've seen them many times there. They hang out at the skate park once in a while, especially recently. I've seen them a couple times there. This person came to me once in a like a neighborhood watch situation to report what they perceived as a sexual assault. They asked me to look into it because they heard I do that. I said, absolutely, I will look into it. It turned out that 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 the person that was Cecil's perceived and incorrect claim on someone who was sexual assault, which, you know, I explained that to them. They seemed to understand that. They were like grateful for me looking into it and stuff. Um, you know, the person who was accused was 100% innocent of at least anything that is called sexual assault. Like, they actually know them better now. They're a beautiful person. They're not an abuser or a predator. They help everyone. I call them Lewis Jr. sometimes because they just like have all the same priorities in life that I have. At least a lot of them. So, um, so I sat there and they saw this, and somebody misgendered them, and they were drunk, Cecil. So I went over and I said, and I've been calling them they because that's what I do by default. If I don't know, I'm gonna say they until someone tells me the proper pronouns, and then like I'm really, like I went over there to comfort them because they were upset that they were misgendered. I said, "Am I getting your gender right? Because I don't want, I see how important it is to you. Like, I'll call you whatever pronouns, whatever name you have. You don't have to. I don't have to know your anything. Just tell me what you want me to call you by." So they said, "Okay, I'm a they." I said, "Good, me too." You know. And they were like, "Well, what are your pronouns?" I said, "They, she, he," in that order. Like, my friends know that I don't fight for my pronouns. I fight for other people's pronouns more because um, they have scars that they have gone through so much to transition to be themselves. So it's just important to me. It's like it's only the second time I've ever talked to this person, but they seem like a really sweet person. Um, and on the other side of the bar was Opal and Whisper, who also I thought were like sweet people, at least, like, I don't know. Um, and so we have these things here in slabs called fucks. It's like a little currency that like gets you one item at a few different camps. It's kind of like for slabby rainbow people only. So I'm really proud when I get them, and I got 6 today, which is the most I ever had. Um, and so I gave 3 away. I gave 2 to friends that needed to get a drink or whatever, just so I could get them something, because I'm gonna share them. I'm gonna take it home with me. And took 3 for me, and I gave 3 away, and the third one I gave to them, so they could do a dab and feel a little better, because they were upset about being misgendered. So okay, I buy them a dab. I give them one of my precious fucks. I go to the other side of the room behind, and I go to a couple of my friends there, and we happen to do a lot of sparring and training together and stuff. So we kind of sparring, but in a way that we always do, in a nice way. There's no violence. Everybody knows that. I don't even hit. I don't make a fist, even in a fight. So I'm teaching them push hands and Tai Chi. This is how momentum and redirection, and how to, those kind of things. Me and my buddy Joe are practicing and stuff, and they come up and they're like, "Can I hit you?" And I took it as, "Oh, you're seeing me kind of practice this thing, right?" And I'm telling the 2 people that I'm sparring with, this is why you shouldn't hit. There's a million other things you do besides hit. Don't block, get out of the way. Don't punch, redirect. Keep your eye on the prize. Don't be angry. Never use anger. You know, your goal is to stop violence or prevent a situation, incapacitate a violent person as gently as possible. That's what I'm teaching. And I can't hit you, so I'm like, okay, sure. I'm gonna give you. I said that this is very close to the words I said. Is so listen carefully to this, because this is where it turns from good to bad. So I say, okay, go ahead, hit me as hard as you can. I'm gonna do a stance, right? And usually I get out of the way, but taking a punch is a good skill to have too. So you can hit me in my shoulder as hard as you can. Right? Don't be scared. The worst thing I'm scared about is you hurting your arm, not you hurting me. Right? Just don't miss and punch me in the face or something, and even then, I'll forgive you, but just be careful, So that's how this started. And they hit me, and it was really nothing, like a child. It was, I'm not even insulting the person. They're a delicate person or whatever. They hit me like a child. They're big, but they're delicate, soft. So I'm like, okay, well, if that's how hard you hit, you could give me 10 more if you want. Go ahead, you should practice this. And then I'm going to show you why you shouldn't be punching, and the difference, and why you should use your hand instead of punching people. So you do your punches thing, then I'm going to show you how to never have to make a fist again, right? And, so they punched me a few times, and there was nothing, like a little baby. I'm like, okay, cool, yeah, awesome. I'm trying to help this person because they're in a vulnerable population. There's bashers out here. In this situation, they became the bashers, which is horrific. But I'll get to that. So they start wanting to do more things, and they're getting aggressive about it and stuff. And I set very consent rules of whatever. So I was teaching them the gentle push hand. So it's look, you don't have to be violent. Just go like this and push on my hand and your hand, and you'll see how much you get the flow of a human body and stuff, right? That's what they do in Tai Chi and Kung Fu. You do a lot of push hands, we're partners. It's balancing body weights and momentum and stuff, and it's a cooperative act. It's not a competitive act. That's why I was teaching them that. That's why I let them punch a few times, so they could see the difference, that's not going to affect me as much as grabbing my wrist and twisting it. It's going to affect me. But we didn't even get to that because I didn't want to teach them anything except basic push hands. Clearly, you punch like a baby, Well, they started getting more and more aggressive, and they were drunk, and maybe it wasn't a good idea for me to entertain it for very long, because they just up and slapped me in the face hard as they could in the middle of a gentle Tai Chi. And I immediately backed away, And I was like, that was so wrong. Like, you're drunk and I'm gonna forgive you for it, but you're gonna owe me an apology eventually for this, and like, you have no consent to touch me in any way from now on. Okay? It's like that wasn't cool. Like that hurt my feelings, and like, I'm a person who has experienced a lot of violence in my life. That's why I'm trying to teach this nonviolence, and you just violently struck me in the face for fun. Um, and they went back and sat at the bar, and no one said anything about it. It's just like, okay, like, again, like, it's terrible because I just gave you my pronouns, and if I had a vagina, I wouldn't have been allowed to be slapped in the face like that in the middle of everything and no one do anything about it. And even then, I was gracious about it and forgiving about it. And like, this person's drunk, let me leave them alone. And they went and sat in a bar, and they started telling Opal and Whisper. Remember, these three people had just seen me go through an hour of like talking to my friends about like how hurt and devastated I am, how much how precarious my mental health is right now, you know. Um, and that I'm here for the very little support that I have, and they just saw me getting it. We just had a conversation about people's pronouns and identities 5 minutes ago. This person slaps me, and then goes into the bar and starts laughing about it, misgendering me the whole time, mocking me the whole time at the bar with Opal and Whisper both laughing. Ha ha ha, that's really funny. But let's misgender him again. Then they start misgendering me. Oh, he expects an apology. He wants an apology. He wants this. You just asked me my pronouns 5 minutes ago, and now you're victimizing me. And they're sitting there laughing, and I didn't get mad, but I stood up for myself from 15 feet away from the other side of the bar. And I said, if I had a vagina, this wouldn't be allowed. It wouldn't be funny. You guys are sitting there laughing, and I just got assaulted, and I'm going to let it go. But, like, it's not funny. You shouldn't be sitting there mocking me and asking for an apology when somebody just slapped you across the face is the least you could do. It's not a reason to laugh. It's not a reason to continuously misgender me and point your finger at me like I did something wrong here. I was sober. This person was clearly intoxicated. But that's what three of them decided to do. So this person, Cecil, becomes belligerent again, yelling at me to like just in a mocking, abusive way too, not in a like, I didn't do anything to this person. So they were like just like showing off how they don't owe me an apology and whatever that is, like whatever kind of, you can't demasculinize a person who's not masculine. I mean, for God's sakes, how many bracelets and earrings and ponytails do I need, But it's particularly egregious that it was allowed to happen like that. And that's not even the real assault part, because this person gets belligerent and starts coming to me and with aggression and anger and stuff, and takes a swing at me. And like I said, they're a baby, so I just very gently, like, just place the hand in the other way, and they get more increasingly frustrated as I respond with just like, I'm not even fast, just like I'm still doing push hands with them. There's, but I just stop them from doing it. And immediately two other people come and attack me, their partner and some guy who just walked in, who's like, oh, look, a Puerto Rican male appearing person in a conflict getting swung on by two people, but I'm the fucking aggressor, so he goes to help them. And the whole way, no less than 15 times people are trying to hit me, and I never make a fist. I never punch anybody through the entire altercation. I'm just neoing them because none of them know how to fight. That was the point. So, I'm like, stop, let me stop. You're like, you can't hurt me and I don't want to hurt you. Like, just stop. And, all three of them come at me at the same time at one point. This guy has good intentions, so I'm like least worried about him, but he's also the most capable fighter, but I'm still like, you know what? Like, I'll give you my left hand, and I'll take the other two with my right hand. And the partner rushes me, like, tries to swing on me multiple times, and I'm just like, stop, 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 and then rushes me. So I grab them by the neck and pick them up and put them down onto the floor, hard enough to show them that they ain't gonna win this, but gentle enough that they didn't even have marks around their neck and no injury whatsoever. I actually caught all three of them. Caught them. So like, oh, I tripped you because you were trying to punch me, and then I catch you and break your fall for you. That's how nice I was. Like, you know, and this dude finally they back off when that person realizes this guy just picked me up with one hand, put me on the ground fucking gently. Like they the partner stops immediately attacking me. The belligerent one is still like, this is fun. Let me put my partner in danger. You know, who clearly I could destroy if I had an evil bone in my body with just that bone. You know, but I'm gently fucking folding your partner's clothes with them in it, so not to hurt you or them. But you're putting them in danger. And this stranger, that poor guy who came in to defend them, luckily for him, he saw me do that, and then I was like, I don't want you to be next. I need 3 feet of space, and I promise not to strike anyone if I get 3 feet of space. And he backed the 3 feet of space up. He also saw the capability that he couldn't win that fight anyway, so he didn't even have a choice. But even if he did, um, so I never make a fist the whole time. I never punch anyone. The most violent thing I did was, dude came at me with the left. I neo, and then I'm finally like, this person's not gonna stop attacking me, and I have to take him and put him on the ground. Didn't even hurt him. You know how hard that is? It's much harder to grab somebody by the neck and slam them into the ground and catch them at the last second so they don't get hurt, right? And then put them down like that. Oh, gently, but like firmly, I could have dropped them 7 feet, but I dropped them 6 inches. Didn't even get hurt. No bump on the head, no thing around the neck, because I have learned, like, I won't squeeze. It's just a vice. So, like, you can't break the circle, but the circle doesn't close in on you. It looks more violent than it is. And then when you're like, oh, look, there's actually no marks, because all he's doing is, like, moving them, Like, I got hurt. But I blocked a kick, and my leg is fucked. Like, I gotta, like, ow, it feels like a Charlie horse. Like, it'll be okay, but, oh, the whole thing hurts because I blocked a kick from the one. And like, my other foot got messed up, too. Blocking. Look at that. All fucked up. I got injured, and they asked me to leave. Even though I didn't throw a punch, even though I didn't hurt anyone, even though I got attacked by multiple people, I got misgendered purposely, I got laughed at, I got slapped in the face. No less than 15 swings were taken at me. It was my experience and my luck that saved me from getting hit